Right, in.
Evening and welcome to a commemorative race in honour of the sadly departed Niki Lauda, who died yesterday at the age of 70.
Yeah, terrible news that. Niki Lauda, legend in the racing, legend in the racing world, legend in the world, right the way through all various different sporting medias. Fantastic guy, and we're all going to feel his loss. And of course, in modern day F1, a great influence in the McLaren team.
Yeah, famous for his very forthright and direct opinions. Always get a straight answer from Mr. Lauda. It was often that after a race that the media would go in search of Mr. Lauda instead of the normal media teams, simply because they know they'd get the truth in a straightforward manner. And there's a lot to be said for that, and it will be sorely missed.
Yeah, and it, as you say, he was very well known for that, particularly in the 70s, straight talking with the likes of our philanthropist, playboy, racing driver James Hunt, and those two were very much backwards and forwards with each other on the track and off the track, and of course that's very well depicted in the film Rush. If you haven't seen that out there, I strongly recommend you take yourself off outside, beat yourself around the head with a hammer, and then go and watch it.
I think one thing that stands out for me about Niki Lauda was that he was a champion in two different eras of Formula One. Sort of the older, like the Ferrari 312, and then once again in 1984 with McLaren, a whole different era of Formula One, much more powerful cars, but he still managed to get it together and beat an upcoming Alain Prost. It's certainly a mark of a great driver.
Yeah, 3 times world champion, 75, 77 and 80, was it 83 or 84? 84, yeah. Yeah, just fantastic, a legend, true legend. And so tonight, the purpose of what we're watching tonight is a memorial race, and we're at Zandvoort, right?
That's correct, yeah. Dutch Grand Prix track, soon to come back to Formula One as of next year, although probably some alterations will be needed. Quick look at the standings there. We've got Jake as ever in first, Rodders following him up, followed by Evil. Good placing for Audi. Banksy, followed then by Gabsy. We do have a couple of invited drivers from other clubs. We put a shout out to everybody that we know in the community. One or two took up the call. Joined us for this race, which is incidentally it's the scene of Niki Lauda's final win. I believe it was in maybe I think 84 or 85.
Yeah, and we're not going to see sentimental racing tonight, are we? I mean, these lads out there are still going to be going toe to toe and as fast as they can.
Oh, certainly. I imagine these cars are going to be a handful. We've already seen in practice as we wait for the race to start.
Here we go then, Zandvoort, looking down towards the familiar Tarzan corner, and they're off. Who's got the advantage there? Looks
like Rodder's taking the lead, and Audi, and it looks like Jake's got a poor start.
Jake's currently in third.
Fourth. There's a casualty already. Let's hope it doesn't cause any problem.
Up the hill, the Hunsrück.
All remarkably smoothly away. I think that's a great testament to not only our own drivers, but the racing family in general.
Yeah, these are quick cars around here. I think these are the FX17s, like you said earlier. Is that right? Oh, and there's an off there.
Yeah. Looks like that was Gabsy spinning at the back.
Yeah, just coming into turn 9. As we're watching now, Gabsy.
He's recovered himself after that mistake earlier on. At least he's staying with the tail of the pack.
Currently 9th into Kumo and around the corner of the Ludendijk.
That's a good effort.
Honestly, I tell you, you want to see me in a Dutch pub.
Bet you managed to pull with lines like that.
But I pull a punch in the face with my Dutch pronunciations. I don't know about anything else.
Alright, as we can see, a few of the cars running different tyre compounds. I believe the orange is probably the softest, followed by the yellows, which would be a medium, and white, which would be hards. So definitely different tactics at play here.
So FX UK at the minute is on mediums, right?
No, I think they'll be hard. I think that'll be why he looks to be struggling a little bit getting the power down out the corners. They have problems getting a decent amount of heat into those tyres.
Oh no, I can see on our special commentator special panel there. No, he's on mediums. It says mediums. I don't think we can see anything on the screen, can we?
No, so. Oh right, I'm mistaken, it's the other way around. The oranges are the hard tyres, the white is the medium, and the yellow is soft.
Now that's great news for us, because that means that we're able to see that. We're able to tell you if you're watching this race. Sadly you won't be able to see that, but that's because we're exceptionally special as commentators, particularly for this race. I must add, Rigel, that I'm a little bit gutted I'm not racing tonight. I'm exceptionally quick round here, the only race actually that I can finish, and I think the last time I raced around here I finished 24th, I think, which was pretty.
You finished. That's what's important. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded racing it myself, but I think people starting to like the sound of my voice.
Very good. Yeah, you're a natural. There's no question about that. And I'm doing this because I'm the new boy. You're doing this because you took a hammer. A rumour is you took a hammer to your pedal set one.
If only it was that simple. Should be back up and running soon.
So who have we got here? We're looking at Craig Anderson. Craig Anderson is one of our guests tonight, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Just looking to see if I've got any info. No. Must perhaps, I don't know if that's RLM Pinky or I guess it must be. I think there's 3 guest drivers, sadly all running at the back, I think. Pinky Mo, K Wright and C Anderson. Let's hope they do stick at it. I think they're all the guys running. Oh no, we've got Craig Anderson running on hard tyres, Kyle Wright on soft, and Pinky Mo on medium, so there might be a bit of strategy help them out there.
Yeah, quite interesting just looking at the sector times here. Yet again, as normal, we need to watch out for Jake Moore, of course, RWB Speed, the xenomorph of the group, currently the only one to break out on a 31, sector 1.
Alright, I think I might switch the camera to Jake because he does seem to be gaining a little bit on Rodders.
And we have that power now. We have that power, viewers, that we're able to flick and see whoever we want.
Beware the power, we will abuse it.
Indeed. Something else for you as well, if you're watching, is that appropriate times during the race, if we think it's appropriate to have a quick word with the drivers, we'll pull them down into the channel and just literally ask them if they've got some time for us. If they tell us to bugger off, then of course we'll send them away. But who knows, someone's slowing down there. Who knows, we might be able to get some.
So it looks like the gap has really come down now between Jake and Rodders. Catching him into the last couple of corners here.
As we watch Jake up into Kumo and around, here we go, Lundjek.
I figured Rodders must have made a little error somewhere. The tail of these cars is very difficult to keep under control. You really got to be careful, especially pulling out of the slower corners. I believe that left-hander there, that right-hander there is also a bit tricky, and Jake nearly loses it.
Yeah, and it's testament to how far he's pushing that car, as we saw him just lose the grip there around the Huggen holes. So Jake Moore then up the hill into Hans Ernst.
I believe now we can see a little bit of a battle developing down in 8th and 9th place. So let's go and have a look at that. It looks like Gabsy is catching Banksy. Very close together. They're going to be. Gabsy's going to be losing a little bit of downforce going through the quick corners. Looks like he's running the hard tyres, as is Banksy, so they're equally matched.
Yeah, and I'm looking at their sector times now, and they are matched in sector 1, sector 2, and it seems that Gabsy is slower in sector 3 than Banksy. So that seems to be where Banksy is holding his own and keeping that gap.
And that is exactly where Gabsy doesn't need him to be holding, because that's probably one of the better overtaking opportunities on this track. Although he's pulled out to deny Gabsy the slipstream.
Into Tarzan corner then, as they are fairly close, and through the sweeping bends.
Gabsy's going to have to watch that nose keeps grip. So follow this little left-right into the long right-hander.
Yep, the slot maker into Black.
I'd say maybe Shevlak.
Black, yeah, into Masters, and then turn 9 and 10.
A little bit of a moment together there. I think hopefully Gabsy can keep the pressure on.
Looks like Mr. Audi and FX could possibly be worth having a look at them. Looks like FX is 0.5 to 0.6 behind Mr. Audi.
Oh, and look, just managed to cut away exactly.
Perfect. As usual, viewers, we're about anything up to about 2 seconds behind. So we're trying to see it and then commentate on it, but so just bear in mind.
And it looks like Gabsy did manage to get past Banksy and cut away at exactly the wrong way. Apologies there. We are new at the directing game.
Yeah, it's not easy, is it? A lot of people see this sort of thing and think that it's easy. Of course, it's not. We're both fighting the natural urge that we want to get out there and do our bit. But of course, on something like this, it's as important that we support our club and do the best we can for us, for them in this role. So that's what it's all about.
Indeed. And we'll see if he managed to gain anything. Looks like he's got DRS. Not close enough this time. Okay, let's go back to automatic and let the director take us through. See what else is going on around the field.
So 2 very close battles on the field at the minute is between John D and Charger, and of course Mr. Audi and FX. Both about between 0.7 and 0.9 of a second which in these Formula 1 cars actually, or these FR17 cars, can be quite a distance, but in some areas can be really close.
Because of their volatility and how easy it is to make a mistake, 3-4 seconds it can be nothing really. And looks like unseen. I think maybe one of Rodder's made a stop, or whether he's made a mistake, because it looks like Jake's now in the lead.
Yep, he is, and pulling out on a 1:12.9.
If this would be a time to pull speed down and ask him what went on.
That's a great idea. Speed, good evening. Have you got time for us?
Hang on, that's not him. That's not him. Excuse us, Eddie, we're commentating. Speedy there.
Yep.
Looks like we were away from the action when you managed to get past Rodders. Did Rodders make a mistake, or did you overtake him on track?
Yeah, he ran wide in the middle of the last 2 turns, got up on the curb, and he just pulled his car off.
Right, I think
into the gravel.
I've just. Is that because we're talking to you?
No, my front tyres are starting to go. I started on softs, and I'm going to go to mediums, whereas everyone pretty much started on mediums.
Yeah, we've had a brief look at what tyres people are using. When are you predicting to stop?
Probably the next 10 minutes.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out for that. Looks like you're pulling the lead, so keep at it.
Cheers, guys.
All right, thanks, mate. Yeah, I've put it back onto auto now, so that should flick off of Jake. As we now look at Craig, I believe, yes. So Craig, right behind Pinky Mo, gap there of about, what do we look at?
A lap.
A lap, oh yeah, a lap. You know, I was wondering what I was looking at there. A lap, yeah.
Well, let's see
I wonder if he had a problem. Should we find out? No.
Oh no, he's one of the guest drivers. He might not want to be disturbed. Well, good on him for staying in the race.
Absolutely.
This is obviously not about positions. This is about a tribute to Niki Lauda. I do have one minor little anecdote about Niki Lauda myself. I did once know somebody who told me an intriguing little story. He and his now wife were looking to get married, and being a little short of money, they came across a competition which they entered and subsequently, amazingly, won. This competition was being run by Lauda Airways. So not only did they have their flights paid for, I believe they flew to, I think it was Vienna. They had their flights paid for. They were accompanied by, or greeted by Niki Lauda, who then subsequently witnessed their wedding.
Wow.
I think that's just a measure of a great man. He took a good personal interest, a good human interest in people.
Yeah, it
wasn't just about the promotion. It was about doing a good deed for people.
Yeah, top man, legend.
Anyway, back to the race. It looks like Chargers found himself in 3rd place. Another solid driver from Audi, not far behind him.
No, in 4th place, as we now look at Gabsy in 8th place, about 21 seconds behind Mr. Evil. So he's got a bit of space because he's got a 19-second gap to Banksy Kai behind him. So Gabsy in some free air.
That's just perfectly timed by the auto director as we switch to Evil. Looks like a little bit of a little gaggle going on here. As one of the back markers looks like pulls out the way. chasing down John D. Fire no evil, he'll have a dogged determination and he will pester. Oh, as John D runs wide.
Takes him in turn 9 and into turn 10. Did he keep it? Yep.
Yeah, he's given plenty of room, but I don't think it was necessary in the end. John D made an error and he took full advantage. John D back on his tail. There's one small disadvantage to these cars is you can't watch for brake lights. Ooh. Stay on the black stuff, John D.
Here he goes. He's going to go and kiss the wall.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit of fatigue starting to kick in a little bit. If you're running wide and that tricky right-hander. Is it turn 3? I think it is.
Yeah, it's the Hugenholz up to the Hunzerug, which is the hill, the sweeping right and left down into Schwab.
Right, I think it's Gerlach. The third corner they're having problems with. You do tend to fly around that corner.
Yeah, it's quite a tight camber around there, and if they're tight on the inside, then it should be fine. But you're right, you can go very fast around there. You either stick to it or get thrown off.
Yeah, it's got a little hook to it. If you miss that hook, then you're off on the other side.
This track we're watching Race Room is laser scan.
I think so. I couldn't say for sure, but it does seem to have a lot of the bumps and undulations. Seems to be fairly accurate. I don't notice it any particularly different to many other games.
Up the Hunzerug.
It's certainly a good representation of the track, I would say.
Yeah, very good. So, Evil then chasing down FX.
And FX in turn chasing down Audi and Charger. Let's see if Charger can keep his mettle and stay ahead of Audi. Audi has quite a dogged attitude and will be have a bit between his teeth. Be determined to chase Charger down.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, our resident double-jawed xenomorph, Jake, is pulling ahead 7-8 seconds in front of Rodders.
I think he might have dropped a bit of a gap there actually. I think he was up to 11 or 12.
Charger doing very well, only 17 seconds behind Jake there, and about 10 seconds behind Rodders. But he's got Mr. Audi right very close up behind him as we.
Yeah, he's going to have to work hard to hang on to that.
But he's got some clear track in there. He's got some clear track in front of him, so that will enthuse Charger to really push as hard as he can and close that gap. I don't think he'll be worried too much about Audi.
Well, there is an interesting aspect that Charger is running on soft tyres and Audi is running on mediums.
Yeah, very true.
So we can't see the current wear.
And pit stop as well.
Yeah, I think some will definitely be going into the pits. So the degradation on these tyres is quite different to such as GT3. They do actually get through them at a reasonable rate.
Really good battle going on here between Audi and Charger. Earlier on I said I don't think Charger will be worried too much about Audi. Fatal commentator, what's the word I'm looking for?
Commentator's curse.
Because guess what, Charger, you better watch out for Audi. He's gonna take him into the Tarzan there, into the Tarzan corner, through into Gerlach, and then into the Hugenholz and up the Hunzerug. Watch out, Charger, because Audi's coming for you.
Yeah, he bailed out of that first corner move.
Has DRS been enabled?
It is indeed, yeah.
Should make it interesting.
For those who don't know, the following car has to be within, I think in this iteration, has to be within 1.2 seconds. This Audi gets very close to the back of Charger. He's going for a move on the outside. Oh, brave attempt. This is a good battle here.
Charger keeping his cool. Around the last corner, the Ludniak into the straight and up to Tarzan corner.
It looks like he's got him.
Oh yeah, he has.
FX now joining the queue. Looks like Charger's becoming a rolling roadblock. I predict he'll be going in for a pit stop pretty soon.
Do you think that's his tyres?
Yeah, it looks like Jake's performed his pit stop as well. He's now down in 5th.
Yeah, so a reminder is Charger is on soft tyres, whereas Audi is on medium, and so is FX. So, as you say, perhaps Charger's starting to see the tyres go off at this point.
Yeah, I wonder if they're running an opposing mixed strategy. So those who started on softs will be swapped into mediums, and those who started on mediums will be switched to softs. There's no obligation in this race to use separate tyre compounds, so they can run medium and medium if they like, or soft and soft. It's down to personal taste.
I'm willing to bet we'll see Charger come in to change them tyres fairly soon.
Yeah, I think so. He's looks like he's losing time.
As he comes in.
And so does FX by the looks of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and Rudder's now behind Audi. Did Rudders go in for I think Rudders must have gone in for a cheeky pit stop. Yep, we've got Jake not far behind.
Audi really doing well on those mediums, holding them out. Yeah, that was fairly close, but... Oh, and he takes him on the inside.
Looks like I think Jake snuck through there as well. He did indeed, so now it's a straight out battle between Jake and Rudders. Oh, he sped in the pit lane.
Oh, he'll be kicking himself again. He's only just got over the last race where he was penalised for the pit lane speed. That will not make him a happy man, but you know what? The pit lane is yeah.
Just got a oh, we have a little shunt there.
Who was that?
Gabsy running in.
Gabsy and John D.
That's it, yeah. Closing speed not perhaps being allowed for there. I know I did it myself a couple of weeks ago. Not in these cars, but can appreciate the difficulty. Obviously magnified in these cars. As was I can't remember if I actually said it earlier or not, but one thing about these cars is you can't watch for brake lights. So you can't anticipate when people are braking.
Yeah. Into Tarzan and through the Gerlach into Hugenholz, as we watch now with John D and Mr. E.
Evil taking a wide line around that one.
Into the slot maker and then Schweilach.
Oh, there's I didn't want to move away from. Oh, there we go. I didn't want to move away from that current battle to see this one, but the leaders just changed hands again.
Yeah, might be worth staying with these two for a little while, or not actually. But yeah, as you say, there are little battles going on all the way through the field. It's a shame we can't watch them all. But as we watch now, Rodder's really up the chuff of the Xenomorph, the Alien, our resident alien Jake. Rodders won't give a monkeys. Rodders is Scottish. Rodders is not going to let go.
Well, I don't know if he's going to have a lot of choice. He's relinquished the lead to Jake. I think he'll just be trying to hang on to his coattails at the minute. Stay within that DRS range for the straight.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's 1.2 seconds, isn't it?
I believe so. Not like the traditional Formula 1, and he's always just about within it at the moment. I can see that gap getting bigger. Looks like Charger's joined us. What's going on with you, Charger?
My eyeballs are bleeding. My arms are broken. I'm dripping with sweat. Fuel. I dropped it to 45 litres, but when you change the fuel, it ungreens it, doesn't it? I forgot to green it back up, so it's not giving.
So
Plus, sorry.
Did you run out?
No, I haven't run out, but I didn't have a button to confirm the fuel in the pit. I've got a button to go up and down the selection, but I couldn't confirm it.
So what you're saying is you haven't learnt your lesson from the last time it happened?
Yeah, but the other thing is I've just noticed my brake spiking as well, so I was losing time there. I was really enjoying it. I was doing all right as well.
And it was very clear that your tyres were going off, and we said we think Charger's going to come in and get them tyres changed, and sure enough, you know, half a second later you pitted in. It was very clear that those tyres were affecting your speed and performance, and Audi was all over the back of you like a tramp on chips. So did you really push them tyres because you were on softs, right?
I was on softs, yeah. I think they were down to about 40% just after 22 minutes. That's how harsh that track is. The G-forces that you're pulling through there, and the tyres are just getting cooked. Mediums, actually. I think Rodders is on mediums. Would have been a better option.
Yeah, Rodders is on mediums, as is the.
Yeah, Jake is also.
Yeah, bad move on my part. I think he was going for a multi-compound. I think he might have done softs then.
Yeah, I think Jake said he was going from one compound to another.
Yeah. Tough race, brilliant though. So good. The cars are excellent.
They're watching Mr. Audi now, and then Mr. Audi's got some clean air in front of him, where he's about 3 seconds behind Rodders. No, about 30 seconds behind Rodders actually.
Yeah, 34 seconds I believe, and he's got 8 seconds back to FX, who in turn has 6 seconds back to Evil. Then it's another 3 seconds back to John D, and about 14 seconds back to Gabsy.
And looking at the sector times, particularly between Jake and Rodders, they're about equally matched, and Jake is holding between a 2.5 and 3.5 second gap per for this lap, and about half a second per lap pulling away from Rodders.
Yeah, as I suspected, he will slowly but steadily build the lead. Yeah, with these cars you've got to be completely focused. One little variation from your normal line, and you could find yourself off in the gravel trap, and that lead can disappear.
Yeah, sure. Who haven't we talked about, Raj? Who haven't we talked about? Let's make sure everyone gets a mention. Who haven't we spoken about?
I think we've covered a lot of people. We can go down and have a look. Well, as we speak, we've gone down to Gabsy. Everybody's ended up in a little bit of a lonely race.
Yeah, there's a bit of air in front of. I wonder whether Jake's had a problem there, because Rodders has now taken first position.
Yep, there you go.
Now Rodders will extend that gap out, and so far he's 5.5 seconds in front of Jake. So Jake will be chucking in
to Jake. Catching up with him, and it looks like he's recovering from a mistake.
Yeah, he'll be pushing hard now. 4 seconds now away from Rodders. Rodders will be soaking up that air in front of him like a jet fuselage. He'll be pushing himself as hard as he can to extend that away from Jake. But some say that when Jake was born, He was born, and his middle name is Amphetamine. He's just super quick, this guy. So, you know, already under 4 seconds. So, both of these will be feeling their tyres as well. They're both on mediums now. They've about how much left of the race there? 14 minutes, is it?
Yeah, 14 minutes 10.
3.5 seconds now to Rodders. I think we should stick with Jake for all.
Yeah, given that he was circulating about half a second a lap quicker, then that's what, seven laps, so you should catch him up in, if not sooner. I'm just wondering whether I perform my first commentator's curse.
Go for it. Go for it. I've already done it. Your turn.
No, after saying earlier that you need to keep your concentration, and any variation off the line, you can find yourself off the side of the track, and lo and behold,
Rodders, off he went.
No, Jake,
off he went. Yeah. Off Rodders went in front. That's what happened there.
Yeah, well, I'm quite proud of that. I'll take full credit for that one.
But already now, Jake down to about 3 seconds gap to Rodders. Rodders extending out. Let's have a look at some sector times. Well, on the last lap there, Rodders done a 31.7, Jake done a 31.6. Sector 2, Rodders done a 50.6, Jake done a 50.3. So you can see he's crawling back some time. He's down to about 3 seconds now. But with the amount of time that there is left, well, it's only 2.5 seconds. These are cars that you can either extend out, and there he is. He's in sight. That's it. I think the crosshairs are on, and that's all this guy needs is crosshairs on the back of you, and he'll eat you up. So, good luck, Rodders.
Just having a little tinker there with some of the different cameras. Obviously, nobody behind him to see. Could do. Let's have a look at Rodders' wing cam. See the ever encroaching Jake. He's a coming Rodders, and you know he is.
2 second gap now as we're looking at the back of Rodders. As Rodders goes past somebody there into turn 10 and up the hill to the Hans Ernst corner, the Hans Ernst chicane. Jake on the hunt as he watches Rodders into Kumo.
Yeah, he's reeling them in. I think 10 minutes, 11 minutes is just going to be too much.
Let's have a little bet here. Will Jake catch Rodders?
Well,
we've got some traffic in front. We've got some traffic in front now. I don't know who that is. I think that's Craig.
He'll certainly catch him, but I think he'll get past and stay there.
I think Craig retired. It's Taz.
Oh,
Taz,
it looks.
yep.
No. Who's that?
Kyle, I think it was.
I think it's an identical car. Someone else. There he goes, getting ever closer.
Yeah, it took a tight line there into turn 10 on that between turn 9 and turn 10, but that certainly closed it up. He's now 0.8 seconds behind Rob. I'm going to change Rodders' name to Ripley, as Ripley runs up the hill there with the alien behind her as he comes into Tarzan corner, knowing that the bitch is behind. All joking aside, we shouldn't underestimate the ability of these drivers we're looking at here. Is immensely quick, and these cars are, as you said earlier on, they can be either a handful or they can be very quick in the right hands around here. And of course, as you said, no brake lights, much faster, so you've really got to be on the ball with your reference points and things like that around a track like this. Is that right, Rigel?
Yeah. Certainly, you can be very metronomic in these cars on the right track, but on a track like this where you've got some sharper corners, some slower ones to get out of, especially with the slip off the camber, it can be a lot of places to catch you out on a track like this.
Yeah, for sure. As we stick with Jake and Rodders coming up the straight into Tarzan corner, and it looked like Rodders just went on the inside line there, maybe to look like he was going defensive going to Tarzan, but then came back onto the racing line. They really are neck and neck right now.
I think I was probably trying to deny Jake the slipstream. Jake will have DRS. He looks to the outside. Oh, almost a moment there.
Some excellent racing here into Schweilach and then turn 9 and then into turn 10.
Turn 10
I think it's
a terrible turn.
Yeah, it is, because you can take it several different ways. How are they going to take it? They're going to hug the court, hug the inside, up the hill to the Hans Ernst chicane, these two, right next to each other, nothing in it.
I think it's going to be down the main straight again.
Up into Kumo. Where do you think he's going to take him? From Kumo into Ludendijk.
He's going to take a better line around this last corner. I think it's going to be right on his tail, and it'll probably be a move into the first corner.
He's going to have DRS. He's going to have DRS. He moves off to deny him some slipstream, but Jake takes him around. No, he looks at taking him around Tarzan, but through the Gerlach, they're both neck and
still there.
fantastic racing by these two.
Looks like he's got the inside line for the
inside, yep,
slot maker.
Yeah, into slot maker and Schweilach. Rodders will be spitting feathers, but he'll stay focused, I'm sure. Now it's incumbent on Jake now to really push and try and create a gap between him and Rodders, but well, Rodders doesn't give anything away.
Yeah, I think it was a fight he was never going to win. Just, as you say, the xenomorph, relentless. Always,
now, will Rodders keep that distance? He'll try and keep within that 1.2 to cross that line, right, and have DRS. Maybe that'll give him an advantage to try and catch this alien.
It'll help him keep up. We've just got to hope we can. Well, I'd say we shouldn't hope. We should stay impartial. But we've seen mistakes already from Jake, so there's every possibility it can happen again.
Yeah. And in a car like this and a track like this, again, it's always that word that crops up. But you know, continuity is your friend, and it needs to be done in parity with speed.
Indeed, yeah. Sometimes you have to back off 1% just to keep that consistency high, not take so many risks.
And you've raced around here quite a bit in your time, Rige. How do you think these tyres will be handling now? We've got, what, 6 minutes left? They're on mediums, both these two. Will they start to be going off now?
Yeah, I think they'll both be, I don't know whether it'll be the same level of degradation, but I think they'll probably be similar. Usually two quite good strategy makers, so I don't think there's going to be much difference between their tyre wear at the moment, so I don't think, well, neither one has got a great advantage.
Yeah. As we now look at the rest of the field, and let's not forget that there is racing going on right the way through the field here. We're actually looking at Pinky Mo's 3 laps down, but you know, let's not forget FX UK. FX UK is about 1 second behind Mr. Audi. There's a fight going on there. I'm sure we'll flick to them.
Yeah, we can do. Let's have a look. Full credit to Pinky Mo for staying in it.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely.
It's someone that's not forgotten. It's about the occasion. Closing 4 minutes 45.
So FX UK and Mr. Audi, then the possibility of well, FX, he will want third, won't he? This is for third, and again, these two, what are their tyre strategies? Well, FX is on medium, and so is and Mr. Audi, however, is on softs. So Mr. Audi is on soft. So again, I asked you that question earlier on about tyres, right? But who do you think will be having the advantage here? I suppose FX, right?
It comes solely down to the age of the tyre now. I can imagine Audi's.
The last 5 minutes, those softs are done. I mean, he's done half a race on softs. They'll be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was struggling on the last 3 laps before I pitted. So, yeah, he's going to catch Audi.
Yeah, I imagine he didn't stop within the last 5-10 minutes. So those tyres are going to be getting quite old. So it's a question of hanging on now. So I think FX has just got to play the quiet game. Just wait and see. He'll find he does have a grip advantage over Audi at some point.
Yeah, and they're coming around here. He should perhaps he should get DRS if he's within that 1.2. There, he's definitely going to get DRS. Surely he'll get DRS.
Doesn't look like he's got it open.
No.
Or whether he's remembered to assign a button to it, I don't know.
That aside, where do we remember where Mr. Audi started in the?
I think he might have been 4th actually. I think it was Jake Rodders. Unless he was 3rd. Only got a chance to do a quick rundown.
Fantastic race by these two as well, and just for confirmation for our viewers, there's 2 battles going on at the minute on the track, really within close proximity. That's obviously Jake and Rodders, as Jake has now extended a lead away of 3 seconds from Rodders. So really the main fight is here with FX and Mr. Audi. FX only half a second behind Mr. Audi now as they come into the Hans Ernst chicane and up into Kumo. So will he take him on this one and hopefully within DRS range?
He's running out of laps to do it. Can Audi just hang on? It looks like they're going to do maybe another 2 laps.
Yeah, he's got DRS, yeah.
DRS still doesn't seem to be making quite enough difference. You've got to follow close through the last corner and use that DRS, but it doesn't seem to be giving him a massive advantage.
Yeah, and for our guest Charger, earlier on you mentioned that you were really suffering on the soft tyres towards the end of their life, so you know firsthand just what Mr. Audi is putting up with here, holding off on FX behind him. So he'd be really struggling with that car.
Yeah, I mean, Audi was on mediums to start with, wasn't he, on the first stint, and I just couldn't hold him off. I think he's doing really well actually to keep FX off him, because if he's done half a race on those softs, he's down to less than 50% rubber left on.
Yeah.
As FX is getting ever closer, really needs to keep very close through this last 2 corners.
I think it's going to have him going on the straight as they go around Kumo and up into Ludenjek along the straight there. Is he close enough? I don't think he's close enough, Rob.
Lost a little bit of ground. It's going to have to be a brave move. He's only got maybe 2 laps.
Late breaker into Tarzan, perhaps? No.
No, it's very tight. You've got to get your wheels into that groove around Tarzan. Otherwise, it's very difficult to keep a quick line around there.
It's a do or die for FX. I think this is probably the penultimate lap. I think he's having a strategy right now of just hanging out of Mr. Audi there. He's hanging out the rear of Mr. Audi, just forcing Mr. Audi to make a huge mistake. Perhaps that's all he's waiting for, is to exploit an opportunity.
He's waiting for him to run wide on one of these corners, perhaps, but Audi's keeping it very neat and tidy. Once again, we come into the last couple of corners. Perhaps going to have to, instead of keeping close here, maybe needs to have a little bit more gap. And then as he goes into the last couple of corners, start to gain through the last 2 corners, so that, yeah, it looks like he's got a good gap there now. Just going to be close. He's got a back marker in the way. Now he's chosen the outside line. He's going to find it hard from there, although he sweeps around the outside. Can he hold it?
No, definitely not. Not into Tarzan. Come on, FX. No. That would never. Not even I would have gambled on that. Not on the last lap. That's a little bit disappointing. But you know what? He still wants that position, so he's going to go for it.
He was on the wrong side, unfortunately. He needed that inside line.
Oh, looking at the timings there, there's a 30-second gap between Jake and Rodders, so perhaps Rodders had a problem there. I don't think Jake's pulled out 30 seconds in the past 4.
I'll just switch back down to John D and Banksy. Unfortunately, we've perhaps neglected this little battle because it was so close. And it looked like there was an impending change of position. Looks like Banksy's possibly suffering on old tyres himself. There we go, he's got himself an 8th place and a little bash with the wall.
Well done, Banksy. Also on soft tyres, so I dare say he was. Those tyres were going off. Had the grip of an ice.
And Pinky Mo staying with it to the very end. Well done, chap. Very well done.
Wonderful. So the conclusion of the race then. First position, Jake. Second, Rodders, and third, Mr. Audi. Very well done, Mr. Audi. Brilliant. Final thoughts before we perhaps speak to the chaps.
Well, yeah, I think it was a very nice thing to do in memory of the sadly departed Niki Lauda. I'm sure we'll all take a minute or two to have a think about his mantra about life, and perhaps use some of it in our own here and there. Random moments of kindness.
Random moments of kindness. Be straight talker. Don't lie, and be straight with people, and race fair. He was a great racing driver, 3-time world champion, don't forget. And of course his last race before he retired from racing was at Zandvoort.
Indeed. Alright, let's pull in Speed and Rodders and have a little chat about their little battle. Rodders and Speed, you're live on the air. That was a tight little battle towards the end. It certainly looked like you perhaps were fighting a losing one there, Rodders.
Oh yeah, I knew he had just too much pace. It was a matter of keeping him behind as long as I could, having a bit of fun. So yeah, it was good fun. It was good how I had a mistake and then he got a drive through even, and then he went off and caught up. But it was fun.
It looked like a track that would produce little errors like that, and plus with these cars being so fast and difficult to keep your concentration on, that was always going to happen.
Okay, I mean, plus we weren't ready for it. It was kind of last minute due to obviously the circumstances with poor old Niki Lauda passing away. Rest in peace. But yeah, it was good fun to do that. And yeah, Niki was a legend, man.
And Rodders, can I ask at the end there, you were about 30 seconds, Speed had pulled away and created a 30-second gap. Was that, and yet 2 laps before it stayed at 2.5 to 3 seconds. Was that because you had a problem? Did you come off? We were watching someone else at that point.
I was going to run out of fuel probably about 2 corners before the end of the race. So I had to just get fuel. But
sort of accept the second position, let the alien zip off to the front and conserve fuel.
Oh yeah. Unless he went off, that was a done race. And as I said, I'd rather make it to the end. And I knew I had enough of a gap to keep Audi behind me.
Before we speak to the winner, Audi, that looked like a cling on to the end.
Oh yeah, that was really hard. I tried to go for softs for the second stint, which was a little mistake. They faded off too quickly, so should have gone for mediums on the second stint too. But I managed to keep FX behind me, even though he was trying his best to get past me. But yeah,
it all boiled down to a last gasp effort on the final lap when you managed to fend him off. So well done on your third place. That was well deserved.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks, mate.
Yeah, fantastic racing. And to FX, I don't know whether FX is your microphone working. Are you live?
Gone for a cup of tea, I reckon.
Yeah, no, he's back.
No,
There
I'm
he
here.
is. Yeah, fantastic chasing there of Mr. Audi. It was very clear that Mr. Audi was having problems with the tolerance of those soft tyres towards the end of the race there. We really thought at one point that you were going to take him in those last couple of laps, and then of course you had the problem around Tarzan corner where you tried to take him on the outside. I bet you were clenching at that point not to not to give away that position, right?
I thought the lap before it was the last lap, so I thought I just had him, and I thought, battling through for the whole lap, it was just so intense. And then I thought, okay, I'll try that move again on the last lap, but it just didn't pay off at all. I just ended up messing it all up.
Yeah, not much grip on the outside of that corner. You really have to hook it in. So final word to Speed.
Yeah.
Well done, Speed.
Yes, guys, that was an excellent race with Rodders. I fluffed the start, pulled it back towards the end, and then got a drive through, which was quite funny.
Yeah, we
And then I
noticed.
did exactly the same. I did exactly the same thing Rigel did. Rodders did previous, and
Yeah, seen that.
Yeah, we noticed you dropped down to fourth off the start. These cars obviously very difficult to get off the start grid, but a good fight back made for good watching, good view.
Yeah, excellent racing between everyone. To be frank, there weren't there, Raj. There were some great battles all the way through the pack there. Notably, FX and Mr. Audi, yourself, Speed, and Rodders. Some really close, fantastic racing there. We've got a few people that were watching the stream that were commenting just how fantastic their racing was. Final word to you, Speed, is what advice have you got to up and coming sim racers? Someone like me, perhaps, when it comes to racing a F1 car around Zandvoort. What have you got to look for at those sort of speeds around there?
It's just about getting your braking points and focusing on the track, because obviously you're going that quick into corners. If you miss your braking point by a foot, you're going 2 foot wide into the corner, or you're locking it up. It's all about focusing on your braking points and your traction points, and not try to overdrive the car thinking that you've got all this grip and the car's just going to drive it itself. You still have to focus on driving the car and not pushing it as much.
Yeah. It gives you the impression sometimes that car it's got never-ending grip, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Certainly it doesn't.
And final words. Open forum before we close the stream. Open forum to those people that are sitting in this tight little room, this commentator room here, where we're all breathing in each other's exhaled air. Final words is that around Zandvoort, obviously it's a very historic track, and we done a memorial race tonight in the F1 cars. But how much emphasis do we place on setups and setting the car up in order to have a speed advantage, or is it really down to knowing the track?
I'd say knowing the track and car matters more than anything else. But tuning can and does make a difference. It just depends on the track and the car and the game, to be honest, as well.
Yeah, I snagged the quick dirty tune off Speed where he altered the gearing for the main straight, because it was hitting the rev limiter on the main straight before you came into the first corner. That worked quite well.
Yeah, that's all I done to the car. Just the rest of it was default. Just a quick race, but you do. I mean, if you're going to get a big advantage at a car, you'll get a biggest one out like a car like that. I remember in EMS, the Formula Ultimate, Speed done a base tune for that car that was like a second and a half quicker just the moment I drove it. It was fantastic. So it just varies.
Wonderful. Well, look, great racing by everybody, and we were really privileged to see some close, clean, fair racing, and that was wonderful for me and for everyone else watching. Final words to you, Rigel, before we.
Well, no, I think that's a very fitting send off for the sadly departed Niki Lauda, who will be missed by all fans of motorsport. This is just a humble offering to memory of him. Rest in peace, Niki. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to keep an eye out on the stream for next time. He's been Tiger.
He's been Rigel. Take care now.
Bye bye.